Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there's only 38 days, 15 hours, 23 minutes, 17 seconds until XRP Las Vegas. There's only 6 or 7 days until the end of my contest that me and Brad Combs are doing here on YouTube, where it's not a contest. I mean, at the end, in the next, by the end, the last day, you have until the last day of March. If you buy a general admission ticket to XRP Las Vegas, we're gonna pull one person, and they're gonna get with their +1, come eat dinner with Brad and I and a few other people in Vegas. It'll be on us, and so we've got that planned. In my group, I'm giving away another +1 and their another person and their +1. I've already posted that in the group, and there's a discount coupon in the group as well to XRP Las Vegas. So go check that out at daixrp.com. But we have, I mean, the lineup is crazy, and I don't think he's finished yet. But the lineup, this is by far the largest XRP conference in the world, and it is the adults in the room. There's a couple of things that you won't see here. One of them is cartoon monkeys. We don't delve into cartoon monkeys yet. That I've always thought of that as putting .com on the end of a business instead of having a business plan back in the .com boom and bust. That's what I've always thought of it as. And I think I saw one of these cartoon monkey things come across where one of these famous people had bought one and sold it at something like, just got crushed. But anyway, I think the cartoon monkeys served a purpose, and that was I think it was like the prototype for NFTs and tokenized real estate and all that kind of stuff. But that's all. It's a prototype, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right, check this clip out. We've got, by the way, at XRP Las Vegas, Brad's got Jason, he's got, let me show you. I keep forgetting. He's got I want to show you the gold people again as a reminder. Andy Scheckman's going to be there. Then you've got, Lynette Zhang, Jason Cousins, the CEO of Glint. So gold will be represented.
Long time to come. I met somebody in a restaurant in the Italian part of Switzerland a couple of years ago, and he said, "I know you." I was, "Yeah, I know you." I told my friend, "You should listen to him. He's into gold." And they said, he came from Yugoslavia, this man, and he was the restaurant owner now. And he said, "I lived through the hyperinflation in Yugoslavia, and I had some gold. The rest of my family didn't. They lost everything, and I managed to get out of Yugoslavia and buy a restaurant here in Switzerland." And what I'm saying is that you don't have to be wealthy to put some of your money into gold. It can be grams of gold, or fractions of ounces, or it can be ounces of silver, which costs today $25 for an ounce of silver. If you do that today, with the way I see the world developing and the currencies collapsing, that will save you and give you a nest egg which will last you for a long time when the crisis starts. So saving in gold and silver is for everyone, not just for the rich. You could skip that last cup coffee that you buy a Costa coffee, wherever you go, or the pack of cigarettes, or the last beer. Put it into put a little bit of silver or a little bit of gold. So that's one way for people. For bigger investors, as I said, that we help them to put it into the safest places. So that's an obvious way of protecting against the risks that we see today. We went in 2000. I mean, gold in most currencies are up 7 to 8 times since 2000. And I think we have just seen the beginning of the rise of the precious metals. And I see the acceleration phase, and we don't care about the short-term moves. We don't look at the price short-term. We see how much gold we and our investors own, whether it's a gram or an ounce, whatever it is. That's what counts, not the daily price. It's irrelevant. You don't buy gold to make money. You buy gold and silver to protect your wealth and protect against the risks that now are greater than ever in history. That's how we see it. So that's what people should do. And then put it away and just use a little bit of the savings, or if they're more. If you look at stocks against gold now, I think stocks will decline against gold by more than 95% in coming years. And silver will be poor man's gold. Silver will also go up dramatically, probably faster than gold, probably twice as fast as gold. But silver is very volatile, and it goes, when it corrects also twice as fast. So it's not for widows and orphans, silver. A bit of silver is all right, but I think more gold. Gold is the king of the metals, and that's a much safer metal.
The king.
So that's clearly what people should do.
I believe gold is the king of metals, and XRP is the king of digital assets. Sounds like a thumbnail, doesn't it? Now, Ashley Prosper had an interesting tweet. I'm going to take a little break from X. Something is not quite right with the platform, and I'm noticing some odd behaviors. I agree with that. Need to reevaluate. Thank you to all those who have shown support. Thank you. You know who you are. Before I go, here's a map of the countries I've covered with Ripple connections. The work still needs to be completed, and I will continue it at a later date. We hope that Ashley Prosper comes back soon. Now, I want to play this clip again for you, and then I want to show you a tie that Chad Steingraber made, and then I added a couple more.
And I said, yeah, I'm an institutional investor. I don't really get it. And, seems ridiculous. And then I went to the White House, and I spent 11 days in the White House. And this happened on a Wednesday. And the reason I know it was a Wednesday, I was only there for one Wednesday. So I know it was a Wednesday. And I was in the Roosevelt Room, which is off the Oval Office. And there were two Fed representatives, and they were presenting a white paper on the potential digitization of the US dollar. You can go back, this was July of 2017, and I walked into the meeting and they were explaining what they wanted to do. And of course it didn't happen, but I said, wait a minute, the blockchain? Is it the blockchain? And these two young men were owners of Bitcoin, and they believed in the blockchain. And I remember saying to myself, okay, I've got to understand this better. The Winklevosses are probably right. I'm obviously dense. I went back to my office. I wrote down some notes. About 4 days later, I got fired. About 5 days after that, I bought the URL skybridgebitcoin.com. And then I got very frightened because I was like, okay, it's probably not the right thing to do. I've got all these institutional investors. So I made a list. I said three things.
Okay, we don't need to listen to the rest of it. This is what Chad Steingraber brought to my attention, because remember, Scaramucci said that this was in July of 2017, okay? July 2017. Now, we're taking a little tiny peek into the All the World's a Stage file here. We're going to take a larger peek in DAIXRP.com. But look at this. So this is Federal Reserve Task Force Ripple Improves Speed and Transparency of Global Payments, July 21, 2017. This is from Stephen Narioff. The favoritism shown in 2017 Dow report was arguably more egregious than the 2018 free pass speech. Both were authored by Bill Hinmans, placed at SEC May 2017 under Jay Clayton. Boring Sleuth has confirmed the suspicions I had back then, some thoughts. And then this, the Dow report just happened to be issued the same month that Scaramucci was hearing that. Like I said, folks, we will be delving further into the All the World's a Stage file in DAIXRP.com. You might want to hear it. Speaking of, Elon Musk is asking why Vitalik Buterin has left the X platform, and I retweeted his tweet and said, ETHgate, Elon Musk. And then here on CoinDesk seems very concerned at the idea of ETH being classified as a security by the SEC. And I had retweeted this and I said, where were all these op-ed pieces about how XRP should not be called a security by CoinDesk? I don't remember seeing those when Ripple got sued. Now they're all concerned. All right, now check this out. Today, Elon Musk tweeted this, the Everything app. That's the old PayPal logo. PayPal was called X. He called PayPal X before it was called PayPal, and he owned X.com. And he had such an affinity to the letter X that he named his kid after it. And as I recall, he bought X.com, the domain name, from PayPal after he was no longer at PayPal, is the way I recall this story being. But he says the circle will be complete. Well, remember the Coinbase circle that keeps closing? Remember that? And remember that weird O at the proper party, the spelling of the proper party? Then we've got this, because this is what it reminded me of. He says the circle will be complete. Remember, folks, I've talked about this for years now. People said I was just crazy. Oh, that's wild and crazy. Even though we know that through the Founders Fund, Peter Thiel and the PayPal Mafia, a lot of them invested in Ripple. They also invested in Stellar. Elon Musk can be traced to that too, through Stripe. Stripe is one of the first investors in Stellar. Stripe held back what they got instead of equity is 2% of the Stellar, the XLM supply. And that was before 50% of the supply was burned. Now listen to this.
The Founders Fund is a San Francisco venture capital firm. I mentioned him earlier. It was formed in 2005. The firm was organized by PayPal founders Peter Thiel, Ken Howery, and Luke Nozak, and raised $50 million for its first fund from individual entrepreneurs and angel investors. Of course, they would fund SpaceX, Palantir, and Facebook. Founders Fund was also one of the early investors for Ripple Labs, the company that controls cryptocurrency Ripple. Back during 2013, Ripple Labs started in 2012. Supposedly remains an investor today. In 2017, Founders Fund purchased 15 to 20 million of Bitcoin. On May 2013, speaking at the Thiel Foundation Under 20 Summit last week, Peter Thiel said he gave a talk back in 1999 and mentioned the end of monetary sovereignty and how crypto money was going to, quote unquote, change the world. I do think Bitcoin is the first one of these that has potential to do something like that yet. Now, very interestingly enough, Peter Thiel's very double-minded about crypto, unlike you could say Elon Musk is, where sometimes Thiel will be like, I love crypto, but Bitcoin has issues because the Chinese are making money off it and mining it all. All right. So it's kind of like got this dual-minded with it. But they seem to be very much backing Ripple and some other cryptocurrencies that we'll get to later. Now, Ripple is kind of going to be like a cross-border payment solution that's going to replace Swift, which is kind of like what Swift does today. So Swift is kind of like the intermediary. When you use your MasterCard or your Visa at the store, they're the ones that kind of transfer the money, the debit from your bank to the merchant themselves or the middleman. So Ripple is supposed to replace that. And it's supposed to do it around the world. They've worked with MoneyGram. They've worked with Bank of America. They're currently being sued by the SEC right now, but I expect them to win or settle with a marginal effect to the cryptocurrency themselves. And it appears that Ripple is one of their world order currencies. I used to thought it was an old world order currency because Ben Bernanke spoke at their conference. However, I think it's a new world order currency, Ripple is, because of Peter Thiel's staunch involvement in Ripple Labs.
So then you got this. I won't play this one. I wanted to play you this one. This is one of the most popular videos I've ever tweeted out. This is in 1999, Peter Thiel, who founded PayPal with Elon Musk.
Network. And that's the kind of choice governments like China, India, some of these other countries are going to face. They will either have to shut down the telecommunications network and make it illegal for you to own a cell phone, or they will have to basically give up the kind of monetary sovereignty they've had and the enormous power that they've been able to wield as a result of this kind of sovereignty over the last many, many years. And I think this process is already full-fledged. The dollarization worldwide is going to be accelerated enormously by the technology. Now, the second theme is a little bit more speculative, and that is that getting rid of money altogether, going from digital dollars, from any kind of government-backed currency to purely private currencies. And what a private currency or what private money, I think, fundamentally means is that there is no medium of exchange. You exchange value for value rather than exchanging value for something the government says has value for value. And whenever you have this intermediate step of the government saying something has value, that's where you have the subterfuge, the sort of legerdemain come in, the game of musical chairs, where every now and then a chair gets pulled out, and it turns out that you're the one holding a dollar bill that's all of a sudden become worth a little bit less. And the kind of exchange of value for value, the classic model would have been some sort of a barter model. That obviously has enormous transaction costs associated with it. These transaction costs go down in a digital age. And the kind of model that I think is the most likely to take place is one where you have other kinds of financial instruments that are very, very liquid. The one I would cite in the UML disagreement, it's a disagreement on emphasis, is I don't think the big fights on this are going to be fought in Washington, D.C. I think that, actually it's for all the reasons Richard cited. The people in D.C. are completely backwards. They don't understand any of the technology, and even to the extent they can, it can't be stopped. You cannot stop things on the level of Washington, D.C. in terms of shutting down these encryption protocols, things like.
Okay, so I want to remind everybody before we go into the group, XLS30 AMM on XRP Ledger. This is Ripple X. They're doing an X with David Schwartz to talk about this, and there was some issues on the AMM when they came out with them. This is why I was telling you when it first went live, don't dive in. It's like I always compare it to when they come out with a new phone or a new computer, any kind of new thing. There's going to be bugs and different things, and it's going to take a little while to get sorted out. So that's why with my XRP, I always stand way back on the sidelines and watch. If I've learned anything, I've learned that. Now we're going to go in the group now, and I'm going to give you my. This is kind of where I believe my theory has always kind of been on this whole the SEC thing and all of that, and I would call it a hybrid of all the world's a stage. Is kind of what I've always thought in my gut, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna show you too part of kind of what I'm talking about. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family if you'd like to find out my hybrid, all the world's a stage theory, then come on into the group at DAIXRP.com. Here we go.